Drones have taken the technological world by a storm, and thanks to these convenient handy devices, we're always on the edge to witness something remarkable. These drone owners get their 1 in a million hunch when their aerial device catches a scene that's just not simply exciting, but also comes with a few jump scares too. From some of the deepest pits of Ghost Town to the hovering humans, here are 15 scary things caught by drones. Number 15. Up and Up. Honestly, when haven't you picked a row to get that window seat? Because who doesn't want to experience the turbulent vastness of Earth as we ascend to the skies? And until we somehow get picked by Jeff Bezos for a private tour of space, we have to rely on drones. Here's the thing. The revolutionary progress of tech means that a small restrained drone can take up the altitude of 30,000 feet. Yep, just like any other aircraft in the skies. Previously, this feat wasn't achievable because drones would fly within a certain range. But now, a tiny drone is going head-to-head with commercial aircraft, thanks all to some clever modification to the drone design and tech. It isn't your average pet project in your backyard, of course, but this tech extraordinaire pulled it off. When he flies the drone in the skies, it gave a crystal clear indication of the Earth's character, something that small flying machines can't catch on. But as the modified drone reached the skies, the camera caught a spectacular all-encompassing view of Earth that you can't even get from an airplane. But before you fly your drone to cruise with the planes high above, take a note of the altitude laws in your region. The government takes them very seriously, and you don't want to waste a perfect drone on a buzzkill project. Number 14. Jetson 1. Set aside SpaceX because space travel just got real. Well, at least sort of. Futurologists have been arguing for the fate of flying cars for a century now. But an insurmountable achievement, Jetson 1 is taking people up in the skies in a drone. And yep, nothing says more futuristic and scary than humans hovering in the skies. Basically, instead of operating your drone from the mundane land, you'd be flying with it. Or more appropriately, in it. And since you'll be flying within the altitude range, you don't need a license either. The manned drone made its first pilot run in 2018, and the lightning speed of its production has made sure that it's available for consumers now. It would just cause a hefty $92,000 dent in your bank account, of course. But hey, far more accessible than space travel, right? As of now, the Jetson 1 has a flying time of 20 minutes or less, so you wouldn't want to bet on long travels. For that adventure, stick to the planes. Number 13. Racing drones. If you feel like something hovered right above your head at the speed of light, your first hunch would be, did I just witness a UFO? But as it turns out, it just could be a high-speed drone whirling around in the air. And don't bother to look up, because they'll be gone within a split second. These bad boys have an earth-shattering speed of 120 miles per hour. An FPV racing drone can even give the fastest Formula One Mercedes car a run for its money. Because as soon as they're launched, they disappear into thin air as they make a whoosh sound. Now, operating these drones out in the open could be disastrous for anyone who gets hit with them, so it's easier to always work in a controlled environment. Precisely this is why drone racing has been made into an official sport in the World Games edition of 2022. Gone are your Fortnite and Call of Duty days, because this is one heck of a real deal. Number 12. Live tornado. Now we've got a real-life twister tale that'll blow you away. The daring storm chasers of the past brought us videos and photos of tornadoes that made our jaws drop and our hearts race. Not only were they thrilling to watch, but they also helped us learn more about these terrifying natural phenomena, how they move, what conditions can spawn them, and so much more. And boy oh boy, did we get a doozy of a video when a fearless drone operator captured a tornado near Sulphur, Oklahoma in April of 2019. This monster of a twister was a real showstopper, and the video will leave you breathless. The drone flew straight into the heart of the storm, giving us a perspective that's simultaneously horrifying and awe-inspiring. The video captures the true scale of the cyclone, with semi-trucks and a towering cell tower dwarfed by the massive funnel cloud. As the twister churns along, trees and small fences are flattened and tossed aside like mere toys. But thankfully, this tornado wasn't terribly destructive, and the video is a stunning display of the raw power of nature. So let this be a lesson to all of us. If you're going to fly a drone into a tornado, make sure you know what you're doing and have the proper equipment to handle it. And for the love of all that is holy, don't try this at home. Now onto some monsters that aren't under your bed. Number 11. Black-Eyed Ghost. Now we've got some bone-chilling news for you. A mysterious figure was recently caught on camera by a drone in the creepy woods of Cannock Chase. and it's giving paranormal enthusiasts all kinds of spine-tingling sensations. Could this elusive figure be the infamous black-eyed child that has been haunting the area for decades? You bet your bottom dollar. The drone footage, which has gone viral, showed the quadcopter hovering over the woods when it suddenly picked up the spooky figure lurking under the cover of trees. The figure, dressed in light-colored clothing, could be seen walking eerily along the edge of the woodland next to a plowed field before coming to a sudden halt and disappearing into the undergrowth. Legend has it that the black-eyed child has been terrorizing visitors to Cannock Chase for over 30 years, leaving many people quivering in fear. According to psychic Christine Hamlet, who claims to have come face-to-face with the ghostly apparition, the child's charcoal eye sockets are a result of a deadly diphtheria outbreak that happened way back in the 1800s. Apparently, the disease caused paralysis in the eyes, giving them a sunken and super creepy appearance. So if you're feeling brave enough to face your fears, why not take a trip to Cannock Chase and try to catch a glimpse of this spooky specter for yourself? Number 10. A criminal. Well. It looks like the Chinese police finally caught their man. After a whopping 17 years on the run, the infamous Song Jiang was apprehended, all thanks to the wonders of modern technology. A drone, to be exact. Jiang, who was serving time for the heinous crimes of abducting and selling women and children, managed to evade the authorities for years, despite their repeated attempts to find him. But it seems like his luck finally ran out, thanks to a little blue tile on a cliff and some rubbish outside a cave. Classic rookie mistake. After a short hike, the police found Jiang living in a tiny cave that measured just 2 square meters. And let us tell you, he was not living the high life. He hadn't bathed in ages, and his clothes were a little, shall we say, less than fresh. He was even collecting water from a ravine with plastic bottles. God bless the drones. But some evils don't run. They linger in sewers. At least Stephen King thinks so. Number 9. Creepy clown. Well, if you were ever looking for a reason to never set foot near a cornfield again, here's your answer. A creepy clown. Yes, you heard that right. A clown. In a cornfield. Just standing around for no apparent reason other than to send shivers down your spine. A brave young pilot was flying his drone over a sprawling cornfield when he stumbled upon this orange-clad horror show. At first, he thought it was just a regular old scarecrow, but then it turned its head to look at the drone. Scarecrows don't do that, do they? And that's when the pilot realized that this was no ordinary piece of farm equipment. This was a clown. A clown with a menacing grin and bright orange shirt that seemed to glow in the sun. Naturally, the clown was spooked by the drone and started to run away, which begs the question, what was this creepy clown doing in the cornfield in the first place? Was he there to scare away crows, or was he up to something more sinister? We may never know. But what we do know is that this clown wasn't going to go down without a fight. He sprinted into the nearby woods, leaving the drone pilot wondering what fresh hell he had just stumbled upon. And the creepiest part, when the pilot brought the drone back to his location, he realized that he wasn't far from where the clown had disappeared. Was the clown still lurking nearby, waiting to pounce on his unsuspecting prey? Or was he long gone, back to his underground lair where he plots his next move? Now we know what you're thinking. This has to be a setup, right? Maybe the pilot and the clown were in cahoots, trying to scare the bejesus out of unsuspecting internet users. But even if that's the case, it doesn't make this video any less terrifying. Just like this next thing caught by a drone. Number 8. Forest fire. We all appreciate the beauty of nature. The vast, lush forests that cover our planet are truly a sight to behold. That is, until they burst into flames and turn into a raging inferno that would put hell to shame. Enter forest fires. The ultimate spectacle that no one wants to witness, but everyone can't look away from. In the past, we used to rely on ground and helicopter footage to capture the destruction of these fires. But now, thanks to drones, we can get closer than ever before. Sure, there might be some issues like choppy air and visibility, but some advanced drones can even work through that. No performance anxiety here. This video does the awesomeness of flames true justice. Sure, it looks like an angry full stop in the distance, but as you move closer, that full stop turns into a big exclamation mark that's on fire like Alicia Keys. That escalated quickly has never been more accurate. The trees are lit ablaze like Hephaestus just went for a jog. Like the Corpse Bride, it's terrifyingly beautiful. Of course, it's not quite as massive as fires we've seen over the years. However, it is big enough to keep us away, and also to question the sanity of anyone coming close enough to film it. Seriously, kids, don't be dumb. Stay away from forest fires. Let the firefighters do their job, and keep your drone safe from harm. And after some raging fire, we have the coolness of water. Infested with sharks, though. Number 7. Sharks. Now, calm your fins down because this drone footage from the Discovery Channel is going to make you never want to dip a toe in the ocean again. Sharks have been terrifying people since forever, but this footage takes it to a whole new level. The crew of researchers used a drone to capture the sharks' hunt for seals, which normally hide near the rocks close to the shore. The water was cloudy, but that didn't stop this team from getting up close and personal with one of nature's most fearsome predators. And boy, did they get their money's worth. The drone captures the shark stalking its prey, like some sort of underwater horror movie villain. It maneuvers through the rocks with ease, ready to pounce on its unsuspecting victim. And that's exactly what it does. Within seconds, the shark attacks a seal, and the water is filled with blood. But that's not the end of it. Oh no. The shark proceeds to shake the poor seal like a rag doll, while the crew watches on, apparently not at all traumatized by the grisly scene unfolding before their eyes. And sure, the experts in the crew assure us that the seal was probably already dead, but who needs that kind of reassurance? We're too busy covering our eyes and hoping this nightmare ends soon. So if you're planning a beach vacation anytime soon, you might want to think twice after watching this bone-chilling drone footage. Number 6. Chernobyl. Now let's talk about the Chernobyl disaster, a true masterpiece of human engineering gone wrong. In 1986, the world got to witness what happens when you try to mess with the laws of physics and nature. The result? A city called Pripyat and its surrounding area was left deserted and forgotten. A ghost town shrouded in the aftermath of the nuclear meltdown. As the radiation seeped into the atmosphere and spread across the globe, a total of 120,000 people were forced to evacuate their homes, leaving behind everything they knew and loved. And now, decades later, the city remains a reminder of the devastating consequences of nuclear power. There is an uneasy intrigue to the desolate area. It's as if the silence is speaking to the drone, beckoning it to come closer. The once bustling streets of Pripyat now lie empty and silent, as if the clock stopped ticking the day the disaster struck. The empty amusement park, the barren streets, and the abandoned buildings all speak to the void of absence left by humans. And yet, in the absence of humans, nature breathes new life into the void, with wildlife spotted all over the area. And it is beautiful, but not in the traditional sense. It has all the allure of a Tim Burton movie. It captures the serenity that only can exist where life no longer does. So if the emptiness of human life is what floats your boat, be sure to check the drone footage of Chernobyl. Be warned though, it is the kind of eeriness that sticks with you. Subscriber's Pick. It's time for today's Subscriber's Pick. One of our subscribers sent us this image, and quite frankly, we are kind of spooked. A little hike never hurt nobody. Well, it does, but people do it anyway. Why? Because of the view that comes with it. But not for these guys who were hiking when they came across this creepy sandy skull face in the middle of the hills. What is this? Can you help us solve this mystery? Now on to the next topic. Number 5. Vanuatu Volcano. When it comes to daredevils that enjoy living on the edge, few compare to Sam Kosman. In a feat that would make even the bravest of us quiver, he donned a custom-built industrial heat suit and ventured to the edge of one of the 7 permanent lava lakes in the world, South Pacific's Vanuatu archipelago. But Sam wasn't content with just staring at the bubbling molten mass from afar, so Sam Kosman got up close and personal with a volcano and lived to tell the tale. It was like a scene out of a horror movie, except without the cheap jump scares and terrible acting. The volcano was spitting out steam and ash like a smoker on a coffee break, creating a plume that would make even the darkest clouds jealous. The sound was like a never-ending rumble, mixed with the occasional explosion of lava, which must have made Sam feel like he was in the middle of a monster truck rally. But wait, it gets even better. Sam and his team used drones to capture the epic display of Mother Nature's power. From above, the swirling, bubbling mass of lava looked like some sort of living creature. And of course, the science behind the whole thing cannot be ignored. The resulting 3D map of the volcano that was extracted from the drone will have scientists bending over backwards to get a hold of it. Number 4. Glory Hole Spillway. If you ever find yourself in California's Napa Valley during a heavy rain season, be sure to check out the Glory Hill Spillway at Lake Berryessa. It's like a real live vortex, except instead of sucking up aliens and spaceships, it's draining water from the lake. And let us tell you, it's a sight to behold. As the water level rises, the spillway structure transforms into a massive drain that swallows anything in its path. It's like a black hole, but for water. And if you're not careful, you might get sucked in too. Thankfully, the Lake Berryessa News had the foresight to capture this mesmerizing whirlpool with a drone. Because let's face it, who wants to risk getting sucked into a vortex just to take a cool picture? Not us, that's for sure. So next time you're in Napa Valley, forget about the vineyards and wine tastings. Head straight to the Glory Hole Spillway and witness the power of nature firsthand. It's hard not to be mesmerized by this incredible feat of engineering, as long as you don't think too hard about the fact that it's all just a fancy way of getting rid of excess water. But hey, let's focus on the positive, shall we? Number 3. Sinkhole. Prepare yourselves for a tale of destruction and despair, for in 2014, the Earth opened up beneath the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, creating a sinkhole that swallowed 8 classic cars whole. Yes, you heard that right, 8. The very foundation of this revered institution was shaken to its core as the gaping maw of the sinkhole devoured the precious automobiles. But wait, it gets worse, or better depending on your appetite for drama. A drone, the modern-day harbinger of doom, captured footage of the chaos from above. The camera captures the scene of destruction as if it were a disaster movie, only this time, it's real. The drone shows the twisted metal, the shattered glass, and the broken dreams of car enthusiasts everywhere. Oh, the horror, the tragedy. But fear not, because the National Corvette Museum has since rebuilt and reopened its doors. Number 2. Tsunami. Let us talk now about the tsunami that hit Indonesia in 2018. A 7.5 magnitude earthquake triggered what was thought to be a small wave, but boy were we wrong. The tsunami hit Palu, the capital of the central Sulawesi province, with waves reaching 20 feet tall, which is like 2 Shaquille O'Neals stacked on top of each other. To make matters worse, central Sulawesi is on a narrow bay that's only about 20 miles wide, so the tsunami moved quickly, sweeping everything in its path and dragging tons of rubble into the ocean. And if that wasn't enough, the ground became so heavily saturated that it caused massive mudslides, adding to the chaos and destruction. Over 4,300 people lost their lives in one of Indonesia's deadliest tsunamis in more than a decade. Thanks to drone footage, we got a bird's-eye view of the devastation. The footage shows collapsed bridges, houses reduced to rubble, and areas still underwater. It's like a scene straight out of a disaster movie. But let's not forget about the people of Palu who were then left to pick up the pieces and rebuild their city. It's a daunting task, but if anyone can do it, it's them. And the disasters don't end there. Number 1. Explosion. In August 2015, the Chinese city of Tianjin was rocked by a massive blast that left more than 100 people dead and many more injured. The explosions were triggered by hazardous and flammable chemicals stored at a port warehouse. The nitrocellulose had a bit of a meltdown and went up in flames, causing a domino effect that devastated everything in its path. And the drone footage? It captures every twisted, gnarled, and charred detail of the destruction. Widespread damage? You bet. Crumbled buildings, burnt-out cars, and debris is scattered everywhere. It's a post-apocalyptic dream come true, and it will haunt you for life. You can practically feel the heat coming off the screen, and the screams of the victims seem to echo in your ears. It's a stark reminder of the unpredictability and deadly force of nature. One minute you're living your life, and the next, you could be caught in the middle of a fiery nightmare. In all seriousness, this was a tragic event that affected many lives. Sure, the footage is fascinating in a morbid kind of way, but it's also a sobering reminder that life is fragile and fleeting. We should never take our safety or security for granted, because in a split second, everything can change. Anyways, that's all we've got for today's video. If you like it and want to see more, drop a like and consider subscribing. See you in the next one.